Those are places cameras cannot go, guys, but iPhones can. That was House Speaker Nancy Pelosi just moments ago as she was sending that letter alerting colleagues that she plans to transmit the articles of impeachment to the Senate next week. Joining me now from Capitol Hill, Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, Senior Whip of the House Democratic Caucus and a member of the Judiciary Committee. Congresswoman, thanks very much for being with us. So,
thank you, Andrea.
Next week, Tuesday, there will be a meeting with the caucus, and by Wednesday, do you think you'll have a vote? Can the rule be done that quickly, or does it have to be done?
I don't know exactly what the Speaker is thinking, but I know that she has had a really good strategy of holding these articles, the transmission of these articles, because we had no sense of whether Mitch McConnell was going to give us a fair trial or not. Now it appears very, very clear that Mitch McConnell is going to go against the will of the American people by having a trial that is a sham trial. But we're going to do our part. As the Speaker said, we'll transmit the articles. We'll name our impeachment managers. But the American people have to ask Mitch McConnell, if he's not going to respect the Constitution in this manner and have the Senate do a fair trial, when will he respect the Constitution? Because that is the single oath that we take when we come to office.
Now, at this point, he has not conceded at all to the Speaker's demands. So what has she gained by waiting on transmitting the articles?
Well, I think that it allowed us to keep the focus on what the American people want, which is a fair trial. We were able to send that message over and over and over again. So in Mitch McConnell not giving in to any of our demands as yet, hopefully something will change with Republican senators, he is saying he's not willing to give the American people what the Constitution demands and what they want. But in addition to that, I'll tell you, Andrea, I just saw that he also signed on as a co-sponsor of Senator Hawley's resolution to dismiss this whole thing. And I find it stunning that that is the person who is putting together the rules for the trial, is making the decisions, is essentially the chief juror, and also from the very beginning saying that he's going to violate any oath of impartiality. He has made it clear that he does not believe in a balance of powers in my book.
So maybe while I was sitting here, that happened. I had not seen that. You're saying that the majority leader is actually the
co-sponsor. He is the 13th co-sponsor of the dismissal motion. I literally saw it as I was walking over here, and I was stunned at the idea that he's not even putting up a pretense anymore. I think now it's on the American people to call their senators and to say this is outrageous, it's unconstitutional, it is so disrespectful to the framers, to our Constitution, but most of all to the American people. They expect these senators to do a fair trial with witnesses. They expect to have impartiality. And Mitch McConnell has over and over again from the very beginning saying he was coordinating everything with the White House and now signing on to a dismissal motion. He's told us exactly where he is.
Do you expect that you might be one of the managers?
I really, that's in the Speaker's hands, and I completely trust her. It would be an incredible honor if I was asked, and I would do that, of course.
And I want to briefly ask you about the status of your constituents in Washington State, the Iranian Americans who were detained for hours and hours coming back Saturday night from a concert in Canada. These are U.S. citizens or green card holders, permanent residents. Have you gotten any clarification from CBP as to whether there is a policy, because they're denying it, that there is a new policy towards Iranian Americans at the borders?
That's right, and thanks so much for bringing this up. This is a tragic situation where we believe up to 200 people, everyone we have spoken to, a U.S. citizen, some with advanced screening that allows them to get a Nexus card to travel easily across the border, legal permanent residents, were pulled aside specifically because they were of Iranian descent. And we were on it immediately. My office found out about it late Saturday night, and we immediately started talking to everybody we could, and we wrote a letter that went in, I think, early Tuesday morning with the chairs of Judiciary, Oversight, and Homeland Security to CBP. CBP has continued to deny that there was any directive that came from them or any directive at all. But I can tell you, Andrea, in all of the conversations I have now had with people who were in this situation, detained for up to 12 hours, little kids on the floor, U.S. citizens, car keys taken away, U.S. passports taken away, that there was a directive. The only question is, where did it come from? So we are demanding answers directly from CBP, but we're also thrilled that 2 days ago, the Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties for the Department of Homeland Security has announced that they will open an investigation into this matter. Sometimes those investigations take a little bit too long, and the reality is that we believe that this was a directive to detain anybody, regardless of citizenship, and focus on Iranian Americans, even if there was absolutely no reason. And of course, U.S. citizens, there shouldn't be a second loyalty test applied. Takes us back to the 1940s and the internment of Japanese Americans. And it's outrageous. We can't let that be the case. So we'll continue to follow up with CBP, but we are also very happy that there will be a formal investigation, thanks to people like Nega Mekwati, who was one of the people who testified at the press conference I did on Monday morning, telling their stories. And I just want to emphasize the human toll of this, Andrea, for U.S. citizens, and I'm an immigrant myself, one of only 14 in Congress, to somehow be told that there's a second loyalty test beyond having a U.S. passport and U.S. citizenship is so unconscionable, and people are afraid. So we see you, we are fighting for you, and we're going to make sure that America upholds our obligations. Last thing I want to say on this, I reintroduced today my Access to Legal Counsel bill. This is a bill that I wrote with Senator Kamala Harris, and we introduced it right after the first Muslim ban. I've just reintroduced it again today because people who are in this situation should have access to legal counsel. It doesn't mean the government should pay for it. We're just saying they should be able to consult with the lawyers right then and there so that they know their rights and they can defend themselves against this intrusive behavior.
Well, we will follow you and follow that. Thank you so much on all points. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Coming up next, burn your enthusiasm. Bernie Sanders meets his doppelganger this morning on Today. More ahead. You're watching Andrea Mitchell Reports only on MSNBC.